Zomberic, formerly known as Eric, when it was a happy working car. Then he became Zomberic, because he's still a bit alive, but definitely a bit dead as well. And unfortunately, today sparks the end of him being a bit more dead than he currently is. You may say that it is pure evil that I should sell the gearbox and the drive shafts, because once that happens, he's definitely not going to be driving around the yard. No more shunting for Eric. No more work. He's retired. From this day on, Eric will not only be dead, but he'll be retired as well. I was asked about the gearbox and drive shafts a little while back, but I've been kind of holding off because of the inconvenience of having a car that doesn't drive itself around in the yard. The ones that I have that don't drive themselves around are an inconvenience, and I don't particularly want any more. Also, the drive shafts and the gearbox won't be the thing that stops this car from working today. No, it won't, because I'm not taking them out today. I'll do that another day. There's no rush. No, something else. A friend of mine needs the high pressure fuel pump, which is there. Once that comes off, engine no run. And the thing is, he kind of needs it now. Inconvenient. He could get one from somewhere else, but he's going to exchange this fuel pump for something that would come very handy for me. And it's not money. And no, it's not beer. It is something else. All will be revealed at some point in the future. The question is, do I do this job there, where it is conveniently out of the way, but also in the way, or somewhere else? You see, this MGF there is kind of blocking the path for it moving. And if I move that, I'm going to struggle to move it back to where it is. We have a van over there that currently doesn't work, so there's only one way out, and that's this way. Plus there's work to do on Nigel, work to do on Janet, an inconveniently located Rover 800, a car just there that may well be advertised as a scrap, and a job to do on this one. Actually, I better get started. Oh, and also, I have to find room for a fish tank in here. Work boots on, and that's not for safety reasons. You might think it's because I don't want to drop a fuel pump on my foot, which I don't, but I have to get it off first, and that's the first thing. No, the reason is they just grip a bit better in the snow. Cold fingers. Anyway, look there. I believe to take this fuel pump off, quite a few of the bits have got to come off first, such as, oh, I've almost got that out. Oh, I have got it out. Right, yeah, access available by removing that thing. Maybe you've got to take this off as well. You know, I can't remember. And when I say I can't remember, I mean I can't remember whether I've even taken one off. Never mind how to do it. But I'll figure it out. How difficult can it be? Don't say that. This is probably where I find I don't need to take this off. But there we go. The pump is a bit more accessible now. I just need to take off all of these fuel lines and see whether it just pops off. Or will it have some hidden bolts underneath there, making it impossible with the engine in situ? Feels like a while since I've done any mucky stuff. I forget just how much it hurts your back. Like within 5 minutes of starting, your back's already telling you to just go on. And anyway, I'm going to have a little break now and phone up Allegro Man. It's not really a break, is it? Know your spanner sizes. That's a 19mm, not a 17. Yep, that's not a 17 or a 19. It's actually an 18. This is why it would be better to have the car up here rather than down there. With any job like this, you reach a point of no return. And I think I've just about got there. My assumption is to undo this bolt. You've got to kind of lock it somehow with that. Well, not with that, but with the hole that's in there. It doesn't seem to want to lock too well. The trouble is I don't actually know what I'm doing here. And to see these here, these Torx bits, well, there's one either side and there are a couple underneath as well. They are impossible to get to from here. So The assumption is this must come off. The timing, fuel pump timing thing must come off to do it. And then that bracket there has got to come off. Oh, and those bits. So now my fear is I'm about to ruin something through lack of knowledge. Well, I could always do some Google searching, couldn't I? Maybe I should. Well, yeah, why not? Let's do that. Have a cup of tea then. Well, I'm glad I did that. The hunger's starting to get the better of me, as it is 12:30 now. I would actually quite like to just get this done first. I need to feel some sort of sense of achievement. 10 minutes later, progress. Look, that basically pops out the hole now, which is quite a lot of bits to remove to get it out, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'll endeavour to just get this out, then I'll have earned my cup of tea, which is undoubtedly cold now. 1:10. I still haven't finished and my cup of tea was cold, but I'm almost there, you see. The fuel pump is held to the block of the engine with this bracket there, can we see? As you can see, there's one 10mm loose, the other one's come out. And then unfortunately, underneath there, there's two more, which turned out to be exceedingly difficult to get to. I ended up having to use a 22mm spanner over the end of a small ratchet for extra torque, because that's the only one that would fit in there. We can see where that is, right down at the bottom there. I've had to cut through that coolant pipe, unfortunately, to even get to it, because I couldn't get it off. Well, that bracket is removed, and unfortunately it's still absolutely solid, and I've realised that these are bolted through this part of the engine. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. Gosh, that really is going to be exceedingly difficult now. At least I'm not cold, but I am very hungry, and this fuel pump needs to be off today. And I've only got, well, I can't stop because the light will disappear before too long. Oh dear, frustration levels have really peaked now. So I've got an E10 tool there, which is where you need to get that off, but there is no way of actually getting onto it unless you use an extension, but you can't get straight to it, and you can't do it with that one either. And they're the easy ones. There's one underneath there as well that I've got to get to. One E10 removed, and now we're on to the second one. And look at the gap there, and there's just about enough of a gap there to get a half a turn. And I had to use that spanner as well for extra torque to undo them. The other trouble is, there's one underneath. I reckon I'm going to have to take the radiator out to even get to it. Yep, radiator's going to have to come out. And there's one small problem with that. All the cross members bent because of the accident. That means it doesn't just pop out. That means I've got to do more buggery. Now, had I have done that in the first place, this job might have been easier. One good thing about the radiator being knackered and the front end is I didn't really have to be too careful on how I took it out. Underneath here then, we've actually got a 13mm bolt instead. And I turned it and it moved. We have our first bit of movement. I actually feel really rather triumphant now. At last. Gosh, that was hard work. One diesel fuel pump. Good luck to the chap who's fitting it. This bracket, what a pain that was. Oh gosh, what a horrible bracket that was. That, the E10, oh blimey. Oh, I won't be wanting to do one of those again in a hurry. Right, 2:20. I think I deserve my curry now. I'm absolutely starving. I'm just talking to one of the chaps next door about this. He said, oh yeah, 20-minute job. He's a good lad, but he doesn't have talk some cack. Gosh, there's way too much there. Well, of course, the fuel pump off, curry eaten, Nigel's passed his MOT, and the son has gone to bed. It's not quite the end of the day though, because I'm waiting for a man called Richard. Richard! Come on! And not only that, I'm going to clear a space over here for something quite unexpected. I have a feeling that there's this one area of this lockup that nobody's ever seen before besides me. Yeah, why don't I have some fish at work? I think it's a stupid idea, I really do. But it's a spare tank, and I like fish. I've just got to find out, really, whether it would be a good idea or not. Will the cold of the winter make it so I can't even heat the tank properly? Yes, that is Nigel there. And you may well be wondering why. If Nigel's just passed his MOT, why am I not taking him off? I'd definitely be asking that question right now. Well, the truth is, the coolant issue really does need fixing now. It's just started to get to the point where you put the coolant in and then it all goes. So I'm leaving him there until tomorrow. In the meantime, time to try something else out. How about the car with no name? That's what this is. From this day on, Eric will not only be dead, but he'll be retired as well.